Would like to thank everyone for their hearty congratulations on my appearance at the Super Bowl. That was not me. Hey everybody, welcome back to RATTLECAN FAB Shop and what I learned this week at school. And what did we do this week? I did not go to the Super Bowl as I alluded to in the cold open. Although within the span of about a minute or a minute and a half, I had multiple messages on my phone wanting to know what I was doing there. I don't know who this guy is, but he has an amazing face ferret going on there. And I'm pretty sure he holding up a cheeseburger. Man after my own heart. Anyways, what did we learn at school this week? We learned numbers matter, and it seems like a silly thing. We, in my welding / metal fabrication / metal joining class, are discovering the wonderful interaction between the numbers on a print and the possibility of messing something up when those numbers are not correctly transposed to your workpiece. So I made the little box. We showed a picture of that. And then I started making a tray. We showed a picture of that. And then I finished the tool box, the lid and the body. And upon mating those two, there was somewhat of a discrepancy. Discrepancy being a kindness that I am visiting upon myself. It's horrific. But as in life, sometimes it's not about mistakes. Sometimes it's about how you recover from those mistakes. So with there being an obvious mismatch in the geometry of these front two pieces, I had to figure out a way to make my latch. At this point, I am not concerned about the grade I'm going to get. I'm trying to solve a real-world problem in my head. How do I fix this in the short amount of time that I have left over? So I got out, I pulled out my pad, also known as paper-assisted design, and I drew out a template, and then it took a couple of stabs over at the finger brake to figure out the process to cut out and fold a spacer. That would put the two parts of the latch on the same plane and allow my box to close. We could scroll a long list of lessons that we learned from this, but let's just suffice it to say we're going to have to pay a little closer attention in that. In theory, we may at least talk about welding next week. We'll see. That was Monday. Tuesday, we moved on, going over the making of a part, what our next project was going to be, which is going to be on the lathe. So we were able to go over the plan. We were then able to watch a demonstration of at least the first part of this article being made. And then we went and we met our lathes. My lathe is a Clausing Colchester 13-inch geared lathe with a Newell or a Newall digital readout on the top. None of the other machines have this DRO on top, so I went ahead and downloaded the manual and am trying to skim over the high points of this, because the switchology just isn't the same as the ones on the other lathes. Anyways, this machine will do a whole bunch of stuff. We had like 15 minutes just to kind of do a hey, how you doing with it. We didn't have enough time to actually make chips. We'll do that next week, but was able to familiarize myself to get it under power, to get things moving, to get the compound moving, to the tail stock, to figure out feeds and speeds, the switchology that goes with that, the process behind changing gears on a geared lathe, and familiarizing myself with right now it has a collet holder on it. And since we're working with round stock, that's what we're going to be using, but also to take a look at the 3 and the 4 jaw chucks. We have an Au.Ra quick change tool post holder, and different pieces to put our freshly minted high-speed steel inserts into, and all of that stuff we will be getting into on Monday. I also received back my widget, as you can plainly see here. That is, you're making it for the sake of making it. It doesn't really do anything. And I had a discussion with someone there in the shop, one of the other instructors there, and I said, so if we're actually going to make this in a shop, we're not going to make it like this. And he's kind of like, no, because if you're trying to make something that's supposed to be square, you're probably not going to cut it by hand on a bandsaw. But they needed an excuse to get us to use the bandsaw, the vertical bandsaw, so that's what we did. I did an okay grade on it. I did find a discrepancy in my scoring sheet, and I got some points added to that. So, we did okay. We certainly learned a lot. Wednesday for CNC operations class, we had a test, and we all know that the important thing to do before you take a test is to be well nourished. So me and a buddy of mine, Stan, we stopped off at the Rip Rap Roadhouse, and I had this amazing, and it's a burger, but it's not a burger. It's a big giant hamburger patty with pulled pork on top and a tater tot casserole and roasted fries, and holy man, it was good. Because of that, I feel like I was able to do well on my test, which I did. We ended up getting a 95 on that test, which I'm happy to do, because I'm kind of the straggler in that class. I'm the only person that doesn't have a lot of experience with CNC, so I'm kind of swimming upstream in that one. Anyways, so afterwards, what we ended up doing was we did our first project on our Super VF2 SS, and that involves not actually programming or executing that much, but what we're trying to do is a real world exercise in starting up the machine, making sure it's ready to go, inserting our workpiece, setting our workpiece home, our workpiece offset, and then setting the tools that we were going to use to run this short program, the tool offsets with that, so we're not making shrapnel by crashing the machine. And we did. I made a little nameplate for my wife, and so we successfully navigated that exercise. And then Thursday, metrology class, we talked about micrometers, specifically Vernier micrometers. So in today's world, a lot of people, I'm not going to say most, because I don't know what the number skews out as, but a lot of people are going to use digital micrometers, but you still have to learn how to use standard micrometers. So that's what we have been spending the past couple of weeks doing. This week in particular, we were learning about the Vernier scale on micrometers. None of the mics that I have got Vernier scales on them, so you kind of had to learn a little bit about that. I did bring the collection of micrometers that I have in just to see how well they were doing as far as are they measuring properly, and they were. The thing that I discovered is that micrometers have different feels as far as how much tension you put on them to measure a particular part, and that feel it's not instantaneous. It is an acquired skill and something that changes from micrometer to micrometer. So the part that not a struggle, but it's just something that I'm not used to, something that I have to get used to, is figuring out the how to read this. The concept, totally understand the concept, but the reality is at some points it looks like you could be off by 250 thousandths, and that's something that just comes with that that you get better at with time. And so what I've been doing is I have been taking a reading on a standard micrometer and then taking a reading with a digital micrometer and then trying to familiarize myself with the way things line up. It's unless you're doing it, it sounds super easy unless you're doing it, and then when you're doing it, it's just a learning curve, and I'm on the flat ugly part right now. The other thing that I did was I brought in a micrometer that friend of the channel Jay has donated to the cause. In fact, he brought over a series of micrometers that were given to him years ago when he was in his mechanical engineering processes, and he has donated those to the shop. And one of them is something that in the books that I've been reading I haven't run across. So I brought it in, and my instructor with more than a few decades of experience in the field had not seen one of these, and it is by Regal Beloit or Regal, I don't know, Beloit. I don't Spreco de Frenchy, so I'm not quite sure how to say that. But anyways, it is apparently a well-known brand that has made some apparently very nice instruments over the years. But this is a model they have built that actually has both imperial and metric scales on it at the same time. So I've got to do a little bit of maintenance on it. There's a little too much friction in the thimble even before you get to actually clamping the piece. That ratchet will start to go off. So we're going to have to pull that apart and do a little bit of cleaning and applying the lubricity elements to that. What I'll do is I'll put a couple of pictures up here for the instructions. So if you just want to see how they accomplish that, then it might be interesting to some of you. One scale is in black and another scale is in red. So in theory, you should be able to get, you make one measurement and then you can very easily determine what that measurement is, either in imperial or in the metric system. Just kind of a curiosity that we came across and something I thought you guys might find interesting. Anyways, that is what we did this week. Again, next week we're actually going to put hands on lathes. Next week we're actually going to maybe put hands on welding stuff. That might be great because I think I'm in 6 weeks into this course and haven't even seen a welder yet. And I might need that to pad my grade up a little bit. Anyways, I'm James. This is RATTLECAN Fab Shop. What we learned this week. Remember, if I can do it, you can do it. If you've got questions or comments, put them in the comment section down beneath the sermon notes. If you think this is mildly entertaining, give us a thumbs up. Hit that little bell so you get notified the next time we drop one of these videos. And as always, thanks for hanging out. See you guys next week. Cheers. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to spend it here with me. Hope you enjoyed this video. Here's one that you might enjoy as well. If you're not already subscribed, be sure to hit that button, hit the bell next to it so that you get a notification when we drop a new video. If you've got comments, put them down beneath the sermon notes. And remember, if I can do it, you can do it. You guys have a great weekend. Cheers.